how to teach and connect online using free tools. I'm going to give you a little introduction about me and my team, and then we're going to hop right into this free workshop, which is just full of information for how you can stay connected with your family, your friends, your colleagues, teach your students, connect with fellow classmates, and really anything else you can think of that's going to involve any kind of teleconferencing or online collaboration and connection that we're all having to adjust to so rapidly now. So a little bit about me. My name is Lori Cooper, and I'm the owner of Pubcraft, Marketing for Books and Brands, which is a boutique digital marketing agency that I've been running with my best friend and right hand at Pubcraft, Marissa Caldwell, for the past 6.5 years. And Marissa and I like to offer these webinars together, but today she is joining us actually in the control panel. So she will be assisting me with any chat, Q&A, as well as any technical issues that we could potentially run into along the way, since we all know that that's a possibility. A couple of housekeeping notes just before we dive right in. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that there's a chat box. So feel free to use that. Don't be shy. Say something, say hi. And then also let me know if you have any questions. I won't be stopping necessarily to answer them along the way unless it's particularly pressing and I can find a good little teaching moment to take advantage of. But I will be addressing them at the end of the workshop. So any questions that you have, please do include them there and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And for those who have your notebooks ready, that's excellent, but don't worry too much about furiously scribbling any notes down, as we will be sending them out along with the replay of this webinar. So yes, there will be a replay, a live recording sent out, and then there will also be notes sent out as well. So if you have any questions, perhaps they'll also be answered in those notes, but don't be shy to ask them here today. Marissa and I were chatting, what with all the changes that are going on in the world right now. And obviously everybody is impacted in very different and very striking and meaningful ways. And we were trying to think about what we could offer in order to support folks who are reeling a little bit, you know, not only from the isolation, but also from the remote work. It's a big adjustment. But Marissa and I find ourselves kind of uniquely positioned right now and uniquely equipped to support those who are making that transition because we have been working remotely for the past 6.5 years. So we are very familiar with all of the free and cost-effective tools to use when you're working from home, and also quite familiar with connecting with each other from our homes. Not many people know this. They assume because of the level of collaboration that Marissa and I share in our digital marketing agency that we live in the same city, but I'm actually located in Ottawa and she is located in Barrie. And for those who are joining us from other places in the world, we're both from Canada, if you can't already tell from the accents we've been told that we have. So for today, I'm going to go over what we're learning and then we'll just jump right in. So again, welcome to Learn to Teach and Connect Online. This will be a 1-hour virtual workshop, and you will learn how to connect using professional tools. So this live webinar is going to walk you through each of those steps, and it'll just hold your hand throughout the process. We're going to learn how to set up your free Gmail account, how to use the free G Suite of tools to create presentations and documents, as well as how to share and download those files that you created, as well as any pre-existing ones that you perhaps would like to upload and share with others, how to set up your free Zoom video conferencing account, and how to use Zoom to host online classes or pre-recorded classes, as well as record, download, and share them. For those of you joining me live today, this is excellent because we can take advantage of the Q&A session. And for those who perhaps are watching this on replay, when we do send it out, you can join us in our exclusive Ask Pubcraft Facebook group, and I'll have Marissa post the link in the notes as well as in the chat for you. And if you have any questions for us there, it's a super supportive online community, and Marissa and I also go live every Tuesday to offer free virtual assistance and consulting, and just to help you out with anything that you generally need. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I see some people saying hi in the comments. Hi, Judy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Jen. Hi, Vijanti. Hi, Tamara. Hi, Allison. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Meredy. Thank you. Hi to everyone who's joining us today. And I'm going to get started by sharing my screen here. Perfect. So to get started, I'm going to open up a new incognito window so that we can have as true an experience as possible without my bookmarks getting in the way. And I'm going to navigate to gmail.com. So the reason that we're going to set up a Gmail account today is because we need one in order to access the free G Suite of tools. So this is going to make your lives a lot easier. For those of you who are watching who already have one of these, you can skip this step and it won't take long for us to get set up, and then we'll be moving on to the next steps. So I'm going to click Create Account for myself, and I'm just going to go through this process. Come up with a email address that hopefully nobody has. As well as enter a password. Really, anyone who's created an email account before, this is going to be pretty easy for you. You're just creating it on perhaps a service you weren't previously using. Now I am going to put my phone number in here in front of everyone, and then I'm going to blur it out in the replay. So the fact that I'm not hanging on to this account hopefully won't pose any security risk for myself. You can enter your recovery email address just in case you need that for security purposes. And you're also going to see my birthday here today. It's also readily available on Facebook. Okay, great. Now they're going to want to verify your account. A lot of email services now use two-step verification, and this is just to make sure you have some added security. So I have my phone with me right here, so I'm going to have them send me a verification code. Perfect. So I've just received that. Now, I will note that, again, I will be blurring this out in the replay, even though I'm not particularly concerned because I'm deleting this account following this, and it's just a sample one. But in general, you will not share your verification code with anyone. So that's something you would keep to yourself. Okay, lovely. So I've gone ahead and verified my account now, and it's just letting me know a couple of features available to me, as well as added security options should I want them. I'm going to skip this step for the purposes of today. Privacy in terms is something that I recommend that you do read over. It's important to be aware of. I've read this previously for my other accounts, so I'm going to click I agree and move along. And we'll wait for our screen to load over here. Now, when we do enter, oh, here we go. When we enter our Gmail account, we're going to have a lot of opportunities for customization. That's not really the point of this webinar today, so I'm not going to delve too deeply into this or really at all. However, we will have a link in the notes that will also connect you to some helpful tools and online videos that will help you customize this part of your experience. So if you're looking to have anything other than the default settings, that's something you can set up for yourself, including your signature and your avatar and other customization options. But for the purposes of today, I'm not going to jump into those. What I really want to show you about your Gmail account, and what's particularly important, is the tools available to you now that you have this set up. So over here in the top right-hand corner, you can see Google Apps, and you sort of have this 9 circle or square icon. Funnily enough, Marissa and I were thinking there must be a special name for this button, and we Googled it to see, and it is literally called the app button or the 9 square or 9 dot button. So there's nothing fancy to be had there. When you click it, you have access to the different suite of free tools available. Each of these do have premium upgrades, and you have access to more features. But for the purposes of today, we're really going to look at what's freely available to you and what you may not be aware of that will enable you to teach and to connect. So for this, we're going to head on over to Drive. For those unfamiliar with Google Drive, this is a cloud storage. So as you can see here, save storage for all your files and you get 15 gigabytes for free. If you do find that you need to upgrade, the cost is actually nominal. I think it's something like $2.79 or between $2 and $3 in order to have much more storage per month. So if you do find that you've uploaded at some point a lot of lessons, a lot of photos, a lot of videos you're sharing with family, and you're getting that prompt to upgrade your storage, it actually is a pretty excellent deal. It's something that I use for myself as well, but I have an online business, so that is definitely an inevitability. Okay, so now that we're in my Drive, we're just going to talk about the types of tools you can use. Now, for some of you who may be joining us today, you're really just looking to connect with your family and your friends. But for a lot of folks, they're not familiar with connecting with fellow students necessarily, or they have to use a different system, which is potentially unavailable given the changes that have happened. And the nice thing about Google Drive and the free G Suite of tools is that anything that you create here, you're able to download and share. So if you have to use perhaps Blackboard or whatever program has been developed or is used by your institution, organization, your school, or your friends, you can download those things and also upload them to whatever they're using. So this is still very useful to you. So over here on this new button on the left-hand side, we can select creating a couple of different things. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a folder for us today, and I'm just going to call it Ask Pubcraft, Teach and Connect. Once I've created that, it's going to show up for me here under folders in Drive. Now within that, I'm going to have us create a slide presentation under the auspices that we are potentially teaching somebody something today or a class. So for those of you who've used PowerPoint or any other tools, this is pretty similar. It's just hosted within the G Drive cloud, and it allows us some sort of quick, easy to use flexibility. So let's see, I think I want a theme. I'm going to grab this one over here, and we're just going to make a quick presentation together so that we can demonstrate how easy this is and how simple it will be for you to create something to then be able to share with your audience or share with your class or friends. So let's just run through this. How to teach and connect online. Of course, using free tools. Now, just like with anything, you can add a new slide over here. So I can click new slide in order to do that, or I can right click on my slide and create a new slide that way. So today we will be learning how to set up your free Gmail accounts. And we've gone through the steps for that, as well as the verification. And a reminder for Lori to blur out details. Perfect. How to use the free G Suite of tools. You hear people commonly refer to G Suite and they're talking about the upgraded version. Colloquially, I'll hear people talk about it and just be referring to free tools, but in general, this is what you are using, these different apps within the G Suite. Fantastic. And for instance, today we're just going to be talking about slide presentations and file sharing, downloading, and uploading. And then how to set up your free Zoom account is the step we'll be heading to shortly. Which is quick and easy. So I haven't used it before. I know that it can be a little daunting to be using a new tool, but it really is very simple and something that I think you'll be very impressed with and will allow you to connect with people very easily. And then how to host online meetings, classes, TTC on Zoom. Oop. We'll also talk about your personal meeting room and scheduling. Perfect. And after that, we will have a Q&A, and you will be sent the notes and replay 24 hours after this webinar. Okay, lovely. So we have our entire presentation ready now. That was simple. Of course, yours is likely going to be far more impressive than this quick one I've drawn up for you, but you get the idea of how simple and easy that was to select a theme, to create this in the cloud, and then to populate it with content. So something to mention about Google Drive is as you're working, all your changes are saved in Drive. So you can see here at the top of the screen that every change you make is automatically saved, and you can see how recently that's happened. So we know that this is up to date and that it's hosted in the cloud, but we're going to go ahead and X out of this just to show that that's true. So I'm going to close this tab. And there you go. You can see that the presentation is available. So again, when you enter into the cloud, you end up in My Drive. You can open any folder or any files you've created, and then you can access your presentation. I'm going to title this just Teaching and Connecting Webinar. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and right click on my presentation and download it. So you have this download bar at the bottom of your screen. Typically, I tend to grab things from there and then drag them to where I would like them. But for today, I'm going to actually open it and save it. So this is going to open for me in PowerPoint because that's the tool I have available on my computer. And I'm going to save this to my desktop. Actually, I'll click Save As. Browse. Desktop. Perfect. Okay, so now I've got that saved, and I'll just hop over to my desktop for a second to show you that I've got that here. Perfect. So let's talk about how you can upload anything. So let's say I had this created in PowerPoint previously, and I wanted to upload it to my Google Drive in order to share it with someone else. Let's go through uploading that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to my Drive, and let me demonstrate that one more time for you. You head on over to, I see Marissa sent me a Zoom meeting invitation here. You head on over to the Gmail account you've recently just made for yourself, and you head over to the apps in the top right-hand corner and you open your Drive, and then any files you have are available here. So we have this available, and we're going to upload now as well. So you can go over to New, and you can see that you have a folder upload if you'd like to upload a whole folder from your computer, or a file upload. So I'm going to upload what we just created. So I'll head on over to my desktop, and here it is, Teaching and Connecting Webinar. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner that it's uploading my one item. Perfect. So now that's available for me as well, and that's super simple. And if I wanted to move this into another folder, again, it's the same process. I can create a new folder, and then I'm able to right-click this, and I can actually move it to wherever I would like it to be. So spend some time just playing around here. It's actually very intuitive and user-friendly, and I think you'll find that it's very simple to use and for you to move your files around in order to get used to this process. Okay, so now that we have this set up, let's go on over to creating our Zoom account. So I'm going to go to zoom.com in my search bar. And then there's this big blue button in the right-hand corner, and it says sign up, it's free. So we're going to click on that and get started. And I'll use the new email address I've created. Sign up. Perfect. So now I'm going to head back to the tab with my Gmail account and confirm that I received this email. I'll just refresh my screen. Sometimes it takes a minute. And we'll wait for that to come in. And we're all in that circle of waiting for something to refresh right now. I am not a robot. Thank you very much. Let's resend in case I get to now. The other thing to be aware of, and something that I've noticed recently, because many of my hobbies see me online when I'm working, but also online in my personal time, is that sometimes servers can get overloaded and things take a little longer than you'd like them to take. So that's something to be aware of as well. Sorry for the delay. I'm just going to allow it to send me an email. So once we do receive this email, we'll be clicking on it, and then we'll be confirming the existence of our account. And once we've confirmed our account, we'll be able to go through the different scheduling options available. Now, I'm not seeing this come in at the moment, so it's possible that we might have a delay. So for now, what I'm going to do, just so that we move on, since I do have a lot of material to cover in the next hour is I'm going to sign in with the test account I used in order to create this. So I'm going to head over to sign in, and I'm actually going to enter an account I already created, which is very similar. I'll sign in that way. Uh-oh, looks like we may be having some problems on the end of Zoom. All right, we'll try something else. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to exit Zoom and try signing in again. When I was testing this originally, I wondered if I would have any issues. And it was kind of funny, actually, because originally when I tested it, when I was setting up the Gmail account just kept saying something went wrong and then canceling my initial desire to create an account. So it happens, but it's typically not an issue. However, with so many people using different tools, sometimes we run into that kind of thing. So bear with me as I attempt to log in again. Okay. Something to always check if you're having trouble signing into something like this is whether you have caps lock on or not. So I definitely checked a couple of times there and I did not. But just in case you're having any issues signing in, just slow it down. Make sure you check if you have caps lock on or not, and then try signing in again. Okay. So I'm not sure why I haven't received the verification email here, but typically what that would look like is you would receive, just as I had received a code on my phone in order to access Gmail, you would receive a Zoom confirmation code. You'd open that email, there'd be a link, you click it, your screen comes up and says, we've verified your account, or thank you for confirming your account or activating it, and then it asks you to sign in. So once you sign in, you are in on this screen. So this is my Zoom dashboard, all right? So from this area, I am able to access my personal meeting room, which everyone has. And there's a link here, which you can copy and send to anyone if you'd like them to join you in a meeting. This is a quick way to get people to join you and access any meeting that you're hosting. But because I know that a lot of people are going to be scheduling meetings or perhaps organizing more formal events, we're going to go through the steps of actually scheduling a meeting today. So back to our dashboard here. I've already uploaded a photo of myself, but this is something that is pretty crucial. If you customize nothing else, please do upload a photo so that whenever you're not sharing your camera on the screen, you are still able to have people recognize that it is indeed you and have something to look at other than just your name written across the screen. And this is very simple to change. So for instance, I'll upload the image I intended to share with you today. So I just selected it, and then you can decide how large it will be and how zoomed in you'd like it to be and save it. And what this will be is the image that appears as your avatar within the video when you are speaking to folks without having your actual camera on. Okay, lovely. So there are a couple things to go through here. And again, you'll get more familiar with how to use the Zoom tools over time. But I'm going to really focus on what you need and the essentials in order to get started. And then you can play with it and ask us any questions again on the Ask PubCraft group. And we're always happy to support you. So let's go through scheduling a meeting. So here we go. I've just clicked, for those who might have missed it, I just clicked schedule a meeting here in the top right-hand corner. And I'm going to set one up. So let's see. I'll call it the Ask PubCraft test meeting. Now for you, you might be titling it something like Marissa and I had the other day, like Lori and Marissa's Hangout. and then I'll send her an invitation so that we can chat and catch up, or even a team meeting since we also work together. I had one the other day to kind of help with all kinds of social isolation with a bunch of my girlfriends. So we hopped on and we had a quick chat. Or perhaps you're teaching. So for example, if I'm coaching one of my clients, I might have a client coaching session 1. And then maybe what we're talking about that day is social media marketing. And we would hop on and have a session that way, since anybody I send this invitation to is going to see the topic and description that I've given it. You can leave the description blank, that's optional, but generally I pick a pretty descriptive title. So we'll go ahead with what we've been doing, learn to teach and connect online. Perfect. So you can access your calendar here to pick the day you would like to host it on. So if you're looking to book a meeting in advance, or you have a course schedule or a study group or a TA group or a, class collaboration on an assignment that you'll be submitting through your institution's back-end program, you can go ahead and schedule recurring meetings or go ahead and schedule meetings significantly in the future in order to get that done, or even on the same day. So I think what I'll do is I'll schedule it for right now. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pick 10, 25, or we'll go ahead and actually, you know what? I'm going to talk for a little bit. So I'm going to click 10:30 a.m. and I'll schedule it for 1 hour. I'm not going to make it a recurring meeting, and we'll just walk through these different steps here. Now, when I host a meeting, I look through these pretty quickly. Again, I'm familiar with using the tool, but I typically will start with not requiring a meeting password. For your purposes, perhaps you'll want one. If it's a reoccurring meeting and you only want to meet with someone specifically, you may require a password. Or if you only want your students to be attending this advanced course or something like that, perhaps you'd like to have a password. For video, generally speaking, I will leave these as off so that no one is required to share their video immediately when they enter the meeting room. Sometimes that can be nice because we're not always prepared to be on video immediately. So I think leaving it off is generally a more comfortable solution. Those who do not want to connect or are unable to connect with their desktop computer or their tablet or laptop can also connect with their phone. So they're able to call in, or even on your smartphone, you could access it the same way you would on a tablet or laptop. So I will leave audio as both, and these are all the default settings. So don't worry about writing this down. This will automatically be the case for you. These other meeting options at the bottom, we'll just walk through for a moment. Enable join before host. This will mean that when you send out a link to your meeting participants in order to invite them to join you on Zoom, that they have the option to click it, and then it'll put them into a virtual waiting room. So it'll say, wait here until the host starts the meeting. And so they're just kind of there, or you can have them all talking and waiting for you to join. So kind of like a lecture hall. So if a student went into a meeting or like a TA group, and then they were just kind of chatting with each other, waiting for the instructor to arrive. So you can enable join before host. I generally don't. I let people wait, and then it'll give them a notification saying, wait until the host begins this meeting. And then when I join, the screen opens up and my camera starts, and then I'm able to speak to folks. So that's really up to you for your personal preference. Mute participants upon entry. For myself, I typically don't. For teachers, I would recommend it. You are able to access a dashboard on the right-hand side of your screen that will allow you to mute participants on the fly, but it's a little unwieldy. So my recommendation is if you have a large group or you're anticipating a bunch of students coming in, you should mute them upon entry. Again, this waiting room, and then record the meeting automatically on your local computer. Yes, I would recommend doing that. And for the purposes of today, I think I will click it. But you also need to make sure that you let people know that it is a recording. They will be able to see that it's flashing red, but you are required to let people know when they are being recorded if they're going to be sharing any visual of themselves. And you can look up those details for yourself specifically so that you make sure you have the proper information there. All right, so I'm going to do a quick review. This looks pretty good, and I'll click save. Now, depending on the type of scheduling tools you use or whether you use any at all, you are able to invite people to join your meeting through Google Calendar or Outlook or through Yahoo Calendar. For today, I'm going to actually just grab the URL and then use it as an example. And you have an option to just copy the invitation here. Or what you can do is go ahead and start the meeting, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give an example of what happens if I just kind of do this manually without bothering to use a scheduling app, because I think that that's pretty simple. So I'm going to copy this invitation. Perfect. And then I'm going to head back over here and I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like. So if I wanted to set up a gathering or I wanted to set up my student meeting, I can put the link in here and they get all of the information that they need. So perhaps I'd like to add an additional message in this email, like, hi class, or your friends or whatever, please find the, let's say, virtual class invitation below. And then we'll talk soon. Okay, and learn to connect and teach online. And I'll have perhaps a Zoom link. Now, if you have your class list, you can include them in this email. Again, you don't have to use necessarily Gmail in order to share this message. You can use any of your preferred email providers. I like Gmail specifically because it allows me access to the G Suite of tools. But if you would like to use Zoom and set this up and share the link through another platform, that's completely acceptable. So let's see. I will send this to myself. And then I will also send it to Marissa at pub-craft.com. So I'm going to send that, and then I'm going to see if Marissa will join me on this. And if not, I'll go through and sign up myself. So send. And just to give you an experience of what that looks like for your students or for your friends who are receiving this link from you, you can see I received this email, learn to teach and connect Zoom link. So there it is. So I simply have to click here. Now the meeting hasn't started, so I'm going to show you. This is exactly what it looks like. You click the link, you're given this option to open Zoom meetings. That's what you click. It's really simple. It's really just a lot of clicking and saying yes. And then you have the option to test your speaker and microphone and to join with computer audio. If you decide to test, it'll just give you a chance to see yourself on your camera to make sure that that's working correctly, to test your microphone to see if you're getting any feedback or any static, and to be sure that you're using the correct one if you have multiple, and then you'll join with computer audio. So there we have it, where we're joining with computer audio, and you can see the different tools here. Now I'm going to end this and I'm going to walk through it from a different perspective. I hear the noise that someone has just joined, but I'm going to walk through from another perspective, so I will be right back. So I'm going to end this meeting. In fact, I'll just leave it. Here it's saving my recording, but I don't want this, so I'm just going to close that. And I'm going to go back into my own personal Zoom. So that's the perspective of receiving it, clicking the link and joining. I'm going to share it from the perspective of the person starting the meeting. So here I can just click start this meeting. Fabulous. But what if I accidentally navigate off the screen and then I'm not sure where to go? Well, I can click meetings here and I can see what's available to me. So any meetings that I have upcoming, that I have scheduled with friends or family or students, I can see them all listed here as well as the meeting ID. There is a way to access a meeting by just including the meeting ID. So this is important to have on hand. I won't cover that right now though. So here I can see this meeting is in progress since I've already started it, and I'm able to just join it. So this will either say start meeting or will say join or end. So I'm going to go ahead and join that meeting. Open Zoom meetings. Perfect. I'm not going to bother testing today, although I generally recommend it. I'm going to join with computer audio, and I'm going to maximize my screen here. Okay, fantastic. So this is what it looks like when you're on Zoom. Perfect. Hi, Marissa. So Marissa's joined us and she has demonstrated what it is for the student, so, or friend or family member. So she has received the invitation and she just clicked on the link and hopped right in. And you can see why I say having a profile picture set up is pretty crucial. Otherwise, Marissa's really just looking at nothing. Now I can attempt to share my video. I'm not sure it will work since I'm already sharing my video on our webinar jam tool in order to connect with you, but let's see. No, as it says, cannot start video. I'm already have it actively engaged speaking to you on this webinar, so I'm unable to share here. So be aware that if you do have your webcam open, perhaps you opened it previously just to make sure everything looks the way that you want it to in your office, you do need to close it before you can connect using your video on Zoom. So here you can see that I'm able to mute my mic. So I can mute it so she can't hear anything, or I can unmute it to make sure. And of course, if I'm ever making noise or speaking, when it is muted, there will be a pop-up on the screen that lets me know that I'm muted. So let's look at a couple of the tools here. There's a chat window available for you, which appears again on the right-hand side, akin to what we're experiencing right now with the webinar. And this way you're able to share with all your students. So you can say, hi class, welcome to our virtual workshop, or hi to your friends or family or whatever you'd like. And then you might say, I've included the slides here, and we can share our file. So see this file button here. I can click, and I can actually share directly from Google Drive, which is pretty cool, from OneDrive or Dropbox, other cloud storage options, or I can share from my computer, which is what I'm going to do today. So because we saved this slide deck that we created on our desktop, I'm able just to upload it here. And now from the student's perspective, they're able to download the notes and follow along with me. Granted, as the instructor, I'm going to also share them on my screen. So I'm able to use these different tools to perhaps invite a student who is having a little trouble logging in and they want me to send them the URL again. That's no problem. I can click here to do that. I can copy the URL, and so can any of the students. So for instance, if Marissa had a friend who was like, oh, I can't get into the class, help, she's able to copy that link and send it directly to them on Messenger or on text or via email or however, and then they're able to quickly access it as well. I'm able to monitor any questions that I might receive, and you can even privately send messages. So I could send Marissa a private message and say, I keep muting your mic and you keep unmuting it, for example, which isn't happening, not to worry, Marissa. Can you please take care of that? And speaking of which, you're able to manage participants. So you can actually see how many people are engaged in your class, which I think is also quite funny because, oh, I see we have an example here. You can see Marissa has put, I have a question in the chat. So like perhaps I'm teaching a workshop and then a question pops up here. It's a great demonstration so that you can answer them and address them this way. So for having your participants up here available, you can see that I'm able to mute Marissa. So if I have a student whose noise is particularly disruptive, or maybe they have some weird white noise, or, they have one of their kids is making noise, or their dog is barking, or whatever. It could be anything, traffic in their area, who knows. But you're able to mute them so that you don't have any interference. And generally at the beginning, I would ask people to make sure that their mics are muted as well. And again, you can see I'm the host here. And if I needed to rename my name or let you know anything, I can do that there. And so now I'm able to share my workshop. So if I'd like to share my screen, I just go ahead and click this share button, and then I can select what screen I would like to share. I think what I'll do here is I'll grab this screen to share, and I'll head over to my drive. And so I can see that the students are seeing my screen right now within Zoom. We have a bit of adaptation going on here today. And then I can directly share my presentation. So I could open it up from my desktop if I liked. I could go to my desktop and then share it from there if I wanted, if I downloaded it. Or if I wanted to keep everything in the cloud, or perhaps I'm using a system where I don't have a lot of physical storage available to me and I want to keep everything virtual, then I'm able just to do that from Drive as well. So then I can share this screen and go through a presentation. And it even does allow you the same presentation function as you would for PowerPoint. So I can click present. and then I'm able to go through the class with my students. So you would do your thing as a teacher. This is the part that you excel at. And then you're able to exit and you can stop sharing your screen at any time. So then you have, just kidding, that's funny. So then you have the option of concluding a class, opening it up to Q&A. You can invite your students to join you on camera or perhaps to only join with mic, and you're able to basically host whatever meeting you're having, whether it's a family gathering, friend gathering, or class gathering, and then you're able to conclude it. So you can say, thanks everyone. You can toggle your recording if you would like to down here, and you can say, excellent, I'll be sending the assignment via email or perhaps Blackboard or whatever it is that you're using, and then you can conclude it. Now, they can hear you, so you don't necessarily need to type. I like to offer both when I'm teaching or coaching. It's a snow day. Get out of here, you ham. All right, and then you can end the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and end that for all. Great. So because I did record the workshop, what I'm going to do is just kind of let that load. And then what you will do when that's completed, when that bar is completed, is they'll give you an option, just like you were saving any file, to save it to someplace on your computer. So to your desktop or within the file. Again, a reminder to let people know that you are recording. I'm not sure of the specific regulations surrounding that, but the advice I've always been given is that you need to do that. So I'll pass that on here as well. Now, a couple of the things I want to share, you're able to send these slides, as I said, or any files or videos or anything like that that you want to through the chat on Zoom, which is excellent, via email as you normally do, where you might download it and attach it, but also you can share it with your students in the cloud. So I'm going to talk about how you can do that in just a second once we finish demonstrating the downloading of this recording, which I'm sure is very interesting for all. So I'll hop onto that in just a moment. And you can see that the slide deck on G Suite really works the same as anything you'd be used to when it comes to PowerPoint. You have your speaker notes and slide notes available, the customization, and of course you can add any imagery or embed anything as you normally would for those who are familiar. Okay, I'm just going to save this to my desktop. Excellent. All right. So here we are back in Drive, and I'm going to show you how you can share this. So let's say that and I'll just, why don't I just walk us through it one more time. So we log into our Gmail account, we head over to the Google Apps button, we open Drive. In Drive, we can see the files that we've connected, or created rather. So for instance, I made a folder. I also have a quick access to any files I've recently been working on, so we can see the teaching and connecting webinar that I created, as well as the one that I uploaded, the PowerPoint presentation. So let's say I would actually like to share this, and I'll use the example of the one I uploaded, since I think in a lot of cases it will be something that you have created on your computer that you're uploading and then wanting to share. So I can double click on this to view it as a preview. And because this is a PowerPoint, I will have to open it with Google Slides. So it'll convert it to Google Slides, so I'm able to manipulate it as I would like to. And you'll notice if I double click this one, it just opens right up into it since it's already created on here. So it already is a Google slide, but I'll walk us through that process. So open with Google Slides. And then once I have my presentation and I would like to share it, I can just click share in the top right corner here, and I can send it to specific people. So I'm going to show you what that looks like from my perspective. So I'll send that to myself. Now, here's an important thing to know, since sometimes people can be little rascals and decide to mess with things that you've created. Here, you're able to select their permissions. And this is important, especially for all you teachers out there who are considering sharing workshops, or even for friends who are considering messing around. You don't want to allow them to edit unless this is a collaborative note-taking or collaborative project assignment where you're involving other people in creating something. Then change it to Can View. because there's no need for them to be able to mess around with what it is that you've created. So just switch it to Can View and then go ahead and send that. So today's class notes, or, you know, if you would like to be more diligent, perhaps you would share the date there. Learn to Teach and Connect Online. And send. And again, we'll look at it from the perspective of someone receiving it. So here I've seen that I have something shared with me. So teaching and connecting webinar. Great. So an instructor or friend or colleague has now sent me this, and I'm able to open it. I see the description. If they customize and set up their avatar on Gmail, I would also see that here as well. And then I could either download it, open it on Drive, or edit it with Google Slides, which will again open it. So I'm going to click open, and then I'm able to preview it and I can see the slides. So if I wanted to join the class and perhaps the instructor forgot to show the slides or didn't intend to share slides in chat, I'm still able to open it here and then view it in order to have a visual aid to my learning while I'm being taught by the instructor by voice or via video. So I'll close that. Another way in which to do this, and I'm just going to go back to close this, is let's say I've opened it, all right, and I have it available and I would like to share it. But perhaps I want to share it en masse. I don't want to put everybody's email in and set the permission that way, but I just want to send one link out to my entire email list or my entire family. I'm just going to click Get Shareable Link. So this is going to offer me a link that I can send that will allow anybody I send it to access. So here we go. Anyone can view. We don't want to edit unless it's a collaborative project. Comment, perhaps if we're looking for someone to proofread something or provide some additional notes. But in general, we're looking for anybody with a link can view so that they can take advantage of viewing it, but they're not going to mess with it at all. And then you can just copy the link. Lovely. And then I can send this as well. So I can hop back over to my email, enter my class list, which for the purposes of today, I guess will be myself, and then Marissa. And again, it's the same thing. Craft slides. And perhaps I say find the link to the presentation below. Happy studying. Great. And then I can send that to everybody. And when they receive it, they are able to just connect by clicking this link, which is a lot faster. If you'd like to set specific permissions by email or share consistently via email, you can use the other option. I find sharing more useful when you submit the email, particularly for when you're doing collaborative approaches, so they know somebody shared it with you and they received the email. But for sending anything that I'm teaching or any specific visual aids or documents or files that I'd like to share that way, I tend to do it this way. And then they have the link and they can access. Okay, so we've gone over quite a few things. Let's have a quick review. So what we've done today is we've set up, and I'm just closing some tabs here. We've set up our Gmail account, which was very simple. It's like setting up any other email account. Just go to gmail.com, enter your information, get your verification, and then you're set up to go. And again, we will send in the notes options to customize your Gmail account. Once you've done that, you head on over to Zoom. And on Zoom, you're able to sign up for a free account. There's a big blue button when you're not signed in the top right-hand corner that you're able to click, and then you sign in. I'm not sure why I didn't receive that email today. Perhaps when I review, I'll realize I typed it in incorrectly, or maybe there is some kind of server overload or some kind of glitch that happened. Typically, that's not the case. So most of the time it is user error, which I anticipate it will be. And you just slow it down and try again. And then once you have that set up, you have access to your account and you're able to see your Zoom dashboard. And from there, you're able to schedule a meeting, or as I said, client IDs are important. You're able to join a meeting. So if someone is sending you a link, you can join by clicking the link. Very simple, test your audio and get going. or they can also send you the meeting ID, which will be further explained in the resources included in the notes, and then you can join that way. And then we walked through the different basic settings for using Zoom, how you can screen share, how you can chat, how you can share files, and how you're able to do that from Drive or save from Drive to your desktop or to any file folder that you'd like, and then also upload and share that as well. And essentially how to host a class by scheduling it, by clicking schedule a meeting and inputting those details and sending the link out. And again, you can always use your personal meeting room in order to hop into a quick meeting. So if I wanted to just send this link in particular, this invitation, and copy it and send it to Marissa, I could, and she could just hop on a quick call with me if you need to have a quick collab or a quick chat with somebody before you move on to other things. So excellent. That's a quick run through, but essentially in a nutshell, you're available now to teach and connect online. If you go through these steps, get all set up, you are able to teach, connect, have study groups, meet with family, meet with fellow students or colleagues, and just, hang out with your friends. And it's this type of thing that I feel will truly help combat those feelings of social isolation and also give you a lot more freedom, not only to connect and be social and to get those things that you need for you, but also to connect with your students and continue to have learning options available for them, even though everything has kind of been turned on its head right now. So I hope that that's been very helpful for you. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I'm going to hop back over to Webinar Jam. And then I'm going to answer some questions. So open it up for Q&A. Now we have about 10 minutes left, but I will stay a little longer to answer questions today. And again, just a reminder, you can join us in the Ask Pubcraft Facebook group, and Marissa and I are happy to answer questions there as well. So let me take a look over here. Thank you. Wonderful. Thanks very much. I look forward to receiving the materials. This has been a helpful orientation to the tools. Lovely, Meredy. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to hear that. Linda says, or rather to access things on Google Drive. I'm pulling this out of context, but I assume you're thinking about accessing them during Zoom. And yes, as I showed, you are able to pull things over from Google Drive, but I will make sure to get more context on your question in order to answer that in more detail. And Linda also asked, do people have to have a Gmail account to get the email when you send it? So in order to receive the Zoom links and anything like that, no, certainly not. In order to effectively use the tools on Google Drive and to collaborate and share, if you're giving access and not just sending a file to download, then yes, do have a Gmail account. That will make everything far more accessible and easier. That is absolutely what I'd recommend. In order to actually download the files, you do not need to have the Gmail account. So this is to give you more easy access, but you don't necessarily need it to actually download the files. Oh, and I can see Marissa answered that. No, they do not need a Gmail account to receive any files. Correct. It's easier to allow them to collaborate, however. Lovely. If a student is invited by mic, does the whole class hear them? So if a student unmutes their mic, then yes, the whole class will hear them. So anybody who's joined in who has, their audio hooked up, which they should, because otherwise why are they there? They will hear whoever is speaking. So for example, if you have a student in class who has a really relevant question, or perhaps you're collaborating and you have a TA joining you as well, or you'd like, or it's a family gathering and somebody else wants to speak, they can unmute their mic and just speak. And they will actually get like a little green highlight around their avatar or around the box on the screen that contains their name to draw attention. And then they can speak as well. And everybody on the call will hear them. Vijanti says, do you prefer using Webinar Jam versus Zoom? No, I wouldn't necessarily say so. Webinar Jam, we have the professional suite of tools. So we actually have a subscription to Webinar Jam to support us because we teach a lot of coaching. When I do coaching one-on-one, or when I do a couple coaching sessions with my own authors or small businesses or other coaches that I work with, I will actually use Zoom and schedule meetings via Zoom. But when I'm offering a webinar like this with signups and list tracking, I have this integrated with all of my other tools. So I use the professional paid version of Webinar Jam in order to do that, since it makes things easier for me, as well as tracking analytics, which might be too detailed an answer, but there it is for you. With Zoom, though, I tend to use it for most things. And another important thing to note here, which I think Marissa did mention, is that the free version of Zoom will allow you to have unlimited one-on-one meetings. But if you have 3 or more participants, there's a 40-minute cap on it, which means that if you're teaching a lecture, or if you're hoping to meet with friends for longer than 40 minutes, you'll have a warning pop up that'll say like, hey, you're going to get booted basically after that time is up. So you do kind of want to have the premium version if you're going to be teaching classes. And I know that a lot of institutions, a lot of organizations I'm hearing are now providing premium subscriptions for their teachers, for their instructors as well. If not through Zoom, then through other webinar programs and other webinar software. So that's good to know. But if you're looking generally to just, meet with friends or host a quick study session or anything like that, then, you may not need more than 40 to 45 minutes in order to do that. The Zoom account is free. Is there a cost for having a meeting? There's not a cost for having a meeting. The Zoom account is free, and again, up to 40 minutes. It is free for 3 or more participants, and unlimited, to my understanding and in all my experience, from if you're only having, yourself and another collaborator on the call. Okay. Good morning. Lovely. I see a couple people saying hi. Perfect. I'm just scrolling here through the questions. Thanks, Lori. For those of us without a nice home office, I heard Zoom has a virtual background feature that can be used. Yes, it does. So I didn't cover that today, but again, I do encourage you to play with all of the tools. You might have noticed my background. This is my messy, happy corner of the world. I've been working from home, as I said, for the past 6.5 years. So I have a pretty cozy home office, and a lot of the time I'm working with a lot of fiction authors, and that's a big part of my target audience. So, and a lot of social media marketing coaching that goes along with that. So I have my little emoji cushions in the background and my sort of fantasy paranormal vibe, as well as my home office. And so this is me, and I share it happily. But for some of you who have had to quickly transition from your workspaces to being at home, perhaps your background isn't something that you're particularly eager to share. Or I know, for example, that some people, in order to get a little bit of privacy from the rest of their family, love them, but we all need a little bit of space, and many people are now in the same, closed area. They may end up teaching from their bedroom, or from the basement, or from that one corner where they get the best reception, and perhaps it's not the most aesthetically pleasing or professional when you're trying to speak to someone or coach or host a class. So barring you actually ordering a green screen and setting that up, you can actually take advantage of Zoom tools in order to have your background change. Some of them are actually quite funny. In fact, you'll be able to be on a beach or positioned somewhere where it just kind of takes out your background and gives you that green screen effect. So that's a good comment. Sandy says, I set up Zoom yesterday and I'm doing a practice fun chat with friends this evening. Do we all need headsets or earbuds to hear and chat? No, Sandy. So you don't need headsets or earbuds to hear and chat. You will need some way of hearing, of course. You'll need speakers, or if you don't have that, obviously, if you don't have speakers, you're going to need a headset or earbuds in order to hear what's going on. Typically, though, and a webcam as well, if you'd like to be sharing video. Most laptops are equipped with this, so you won't have an issue. You can see that I'm using earbuds right now, or I'll typically use a headset. Now, this is recommended simply because you avoid interference. So if I have my headphones on, then my mic that's set up here is not necessarily, and hopefully that didn't make a ton of noise for everybody. Hopefully it'll mean that if Sandy and I are talking and Sandy starts speaking to me, there might be a lot of sound coming out of my speaker if I took my headphones out, and then my mic might pick that up, and then my other people on the call might get some weird reverb or echo, which is not pleasant for anybody. So we all know what it's like when we go to an event and you hear that horrible mic noise, or you get that weird echo. Sometimes you get that loop and you just can't even speak or think through it. So I do recommend that you do have a headset or headphones, just to minimize the possibility of that. But it's not prohibitive. If you can turn your sound down a bit, and move your mic away, then you can avoid it potentially without needing to do that, which is nice. A nice thing too about headsets, and some of you, if you're at home thinking, well, I don't have a headset and I want to have this meeting and, you know, I don't really have a mic, I don't have any of that set up. You know, your kids might hate me for this, but hit up your kids because most of them have gaming headsets or earbuds, or they have cell phones that have come with the little mic that's actually connected to the earbuds. So you have options there. And then, of course, you can also go online and order one delivered to your home. So you can get a headset that has a mic that comes down and you'll feel like you're in a call center or gaming or dispatching. So let's keep going here. Thank you. Do you know what the costs are for premium subscriptions roughly for both? Not off the top of my head. And again, I'm in Ottawa, so I'm going to be looking at Canadian pricing and US pricing and other pricing may be different. I think it's something like $19.99 a month. But again, if you navigate over to zoom.com or to whatever provider you're thinking about accessing and you click, they're always going to prompt you to upgrade. They want you to do that. And regularly, as a tip, they are going to offer you discounts. So if you are using the free service for a while, you are quite likely to receive an email saying, you know, get 50% off. But also I have to applaud a lot of the providers these days because I know that a bunch of organizations are going out of their way in order to make things accessible and to allow those to access it and not have money be a factor that prevents them from connecting. So I would look into that and you know, Google it and see what options are available, because perhaps there is something free that they've made available that's not normally something that you would be able to access without the premium subscription. So take a look. And no, I don't have those memorized off the top of my head, but they should be very readily available with a quick search. Judy says, I teach ukulele. That's awesome. So would I use the slide opportunity on Google Drive to use chord sheets, or is there another way to show them on screen? That's a great comment. So for your chord sheets, if you were to photograph those or scan those, or if you've made them using an online program, if you can download them out of that program, you can easily upload them. So for instance, you can upload a document as well. And part of me wants to just demonstrate it right now. Maybe I will. But when you go onto Google Drive, you can head onto Drive the same way we did, where we went onto the screen, we clicked on the Google Apps button, we went to Drive. Then once you're in there, you can click New and you can click Upload File or Folder if they're all housed in a folder. And then you can just upload that document directly. So this works not just for slides, but this also works for any files, really, like any videos, any documents, any images, anything that you like. Now, if you wanted to create them on Google Drive, you can. But again, if it's created outside of it in any other program, as long as you have the ability to download it to your system, you can upload it. That's no problem at all. So if you wanted to share chord sheets, the same thing. If you upload that, you'll be able to see a share button and you'll be able to grab that link in order to send it to your students, or just to click share and send it to their specific email. Because again, perhaps it's collaborative too. If you're working on something together, then you can change it to Can Edit instead of Can View, and they can also make changes on the screen, which is great for collaboration, especially among students and teams. I can open a Google Drive document, and in fact, if Marissa's right here, maybe I will demonstrate that since I'm staying for a little bit longer. I'm going to turn on screen share again. And head on over to Gmail. Oh, there we go. I finally received the please activate your Zoom account email. Thank you, Zoom. It was a little late, but we got through it. Okay. And then open Drive. Okay. So let's say that, as I said, you can upload your file, right? So you're able to upload that file, share it with any of your students. But if I wanted to do something collaborative, I could also do that as well. So for instance, I could open Google Docs here, and this could be a joint note taking and brainstorming, because maybe I have an upcoming assignment or an upcoming workshop that I want to collaborate with someone on. I'll share, and I'm going to specifically send this to Marissa at pubcraft.com. I'm going to allow her to edit, and I will send that. No signing required. So here, this is great because this will show you. So I sent it to a Pubcraft email, not a Gmail one. So this is key to the question that was previously asked about whether they can access it. It'll actually let you know. So you can send the link, no sign-in required. So turn link sharing on, anyone with the link can view. Or send an invitation, and then it lets you know the recipient must sign in with a Google account within 14 days to edit. So anyone with the invitation will have access, but there are certain features available for collaboration purposes that will involve you having a Gmail account. So I'm just going to send this. And since I know Marissa also has a Gmail account, I'll send that as well for collaboration. Perfect. So a quick impromptu demonstration, and I can see I've shared it with somebody. And so perhaps I'm, working away on my document, waiting for someone to join and collaborate with me. They can see what I'm typing as well. Actually, it's cute. So it'll show anonymous beaver or anonymous moose or anonymous frog or something when someone's joining in using an account that isn't a Gmail account. So you can see the different people having access to your account. And using this, they're able to edit the document as well. So Marissa, if you can hear me and you're able to type in this document at the same time right now, that would be great for a demonstration. But otherwise, that is how it works. So once they join the document, they're able to start typing, and then I can actually see them typing on the screen as well. So sometimes it's good to select a color while you're collaborating together, just so that you guys can differentiate between who's who later. If you have a third party member who comes in and is like, okay, wait, which notes are Lori's and which notes are Marissa's, so that they can see the type of collaboration that's going on. So I don't want to spend too long on this because there are other questions. So I'll pop back out for now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and head back over to Webinar Jam. Thanks so much for this information. It's very helpful. Lovely. Better to pre-send them the music, Judy says. Yep, but you can do that through Google Drive, definitely. Judith says, I tried to participate in the Zoom meeting yesterday. My audio pre-test worked, but I couldn't hear the audio in the meeting. I had no trouble with my desktop audio when doing anything else. Any idea what the issue might have been? I could see the meeting taking place, so don't believe anyone else was having issues. It could be a host of different things. This does happen occasionally. Like, for instance, even this morning, I was on a call with Marissa and we were chatting. It was actually on Messenger and on Facebook Messenger, and we were chatting and everything was fine. We could hear each other. And then my audio dropped. So I was talking to her, and then I realized she couldn't hear me. And I couldn't particularly find a rhyme or reason for this. I hesitate to, blame the provider or blame any server for being overloaded, although that is more likely to happen with so many people using all these tools and working from home. I would say, 99% of the time it's user error, but it's hard to determine what that would be. Or also, if anything just temporarily glitched, you can occasionally get dropped. So if you've done the test and made sure that it all works, my suggestion at that point would be the old tech support suggestion of, turn it off and start it again. So leave the meeting and try accessing it again. And if you are in a position where you're able to ask someone if your audio is working, then do that just to test it. And of course, if you aren't, then hopefully you're able to still receive the content that's being shared with you. So without digging into your specific settings in particular and testing that, I really don't have a comprehensive answer for you other than the old, tech support slogan of, like unplug, replug, like just exit and try it again and test again. I should have contacted the presenter, but I didn't really know what I was doing in Zoom on that first try, so I just left the meeting. I understand. I've been in that boat previously, but so just, I understand. I would just say go ahead and try again. Oh, Marissa's just let me know she's in the doc now. So that's just loaded for her. So I'm going to actually share my screen again so I can demonstrate that. Oh, we got a bit of inception here. Let's move away from that. Okay. So I've gone back to the doc here. Hello, it's here. So Marissa's joined the document now. So here's an example of how you could be collaborating on something together if you did want to invite fellow students to connect. So Marissa is also typing in the document. So I'm able to see what she's writing, and she can see what I'm writing. Now, this isn't exactly a vehicle for chat, although you can get very distracted by doing that. It's more for note-taking purposes. And Marissa's being cheeky. So here you can use this and just work together on a document. So thank you, Marissa, for demonstrating that. And here I can see Marissa's avatar. I've seen she connected with her Gmail account. So it's a bit more accessible and also a bit more personalized, so you can see who's working on documents. Okay, stop sharing. Thank you so much. This has been so valuable, lovely. Okay. And I'm just scanning through here, but if anybody has any other questions for me before we sign off today, please do include them in the chat. And a reminder that 24 hours after this has concluded, you will be receiving a replay of this webinar if you'd like to go over anything or use it as a tool. And then also you will be receiving some notes that will help you find more tutorials that have been made readily available by different providers in order to customize your Gmail account, customize your Zoom account, use any of the tools available to you, certainly use any of the premium tools if you decide you'd like to purchase anything like that. But really what this is an option to use free tools so that it's accessible for everyone. And I'm actually going to be making this webinar available on our YouTube channel as well, which I'll be linking to in the Ask Pubcraft group on Facebook. So Marissa has shared that as a sticky note in the chat here. You can join on Facebook in our private group, and we're happy to support you there and answer any questions. Not to mention that there are many other members of the group which would be happy to support you and offer help as well. We all really need to stick together and make sure that we can connect with one another. Thank you, lovely ladies. This has been great. Our pleasure as always. Thank you. Does that happen automatically? The email after. Judy, that's a specific question about Webinar Jam. And to answer that, we program the emails to happen. So Webinar Jam is actually a very useful tool that you can go in and configure to say, I would like to send out an email to the list that signed up to view this webinar, and then send them the recorded replay, or I can download the replay and edit it and then upload it again and include a link as well, which is what I'll do in order to blur out my personal details, because while I'm not overly concerned, I won't be putting that on YouTube so that I don't have any friendly or not so friendly phone calls. So I will be sharing that as well. And Marissa answered, yes, there's automatic email 24 hours after we finish. Yeah, we set that up to be automated. Thanks, lovely. Okay, wonderful. Allison, my pleasure. So happy to get you started on this. And, please pass it on. And please, when you do receive the link to the replay for this, please share it with anybody who needs help walking through each of these steps. And a lot of these are really, really new things to a lot of folks. So again, we invite you to join us in our group, and then also to view this and to share it widely. Okay, with that, I think we've addressed all the questions for today. So thank you so much for joining us on this webinar, and I hope that it is helpful and useful for you, and that you're able to share it with friends and colleagues and students of yours who might need some additional resources in order to get used to this sort of new world of messaging online, collaborating online, and connecting in virtual meeting spaces, which we are all now adjusting to on a grand scale. So thanks again, and I will conclude the meeting for today, and we'll be in touch within 24 hours. I hope to see many of you in the Ask Pubcraft Facebook group. Bye for now.